What's up, guys? This is going to be episode 6 of Tips and Strategies for Betting MMA. It's going to be a good one, guys. I'm going to show a specific hedging method that I think works pretty well when you have a few straight bets on the night. I have talked about hedging a bit in the past, but I didn't show any specific methods. As well, I had a couple people ask me, how do we know we're beating the bookie? So I'm going to talk about determining value as well. As you guys can see on the screen, these are 3 of the fights that I talked about earlier in the week. I had James Krause actually parlayed up with Michael Venom Page, and I noticed that fight isn't up for betting anymore. So I'm not sure, if somebody pulled out or what happened. But I still wanted to include James Krause because, of course, this fight's still on, and a lot of people might have him alone in their parlay now. So here's a method, guys. Again, when you have straight bets, so let's just say you started out your account and you're putting $20 on fights right now. So you put $20 on Randy Brown, $20 on Bobby Green, and $20 on James Krause. And those are your 3 bets for the night. Now, what you're going to do with this method, guys, and this is really good if you have betting credits. So when you start out, for anybody who doesn't know, let's say you put in $200. A lot of sites will have a match bonus up to $250, I think, on some sites, but let's just say it's $200. So they'll match that once bets are settled for $200. So say the first night you make that deposit, and I don't ever recommend spending your full bankroll in the first night, but let's just say the first night you wanted to only bet on a couple fights, and you had $200 to spend. So you go in, you open that account, you place those bets. Once they settle, you'll see 200 bet credits go into your account. Now, the way those can be used is basically, and I'll show you this here. They'll take the stake. So basically, you bet $10. You won't get that back, but you'll get the winnings. So basically, you're using the credits to place your bet. You don't get that back, but again, you get whatever the winnings are from it. So what I like to do is once you get those 200 credits, a lot of people still like to bet with them, but at least put aside 50, guys, for hedging. And what you can do, with that money is, in this case, these are the 3 opponents, of course: Sergio Moraes, Francisco Trinaldo, and Warley Alves. You put those 3 in a parlay, and a lot of times the odds will be up, like they are here. It's 8.66 for the 3. If you were to take $10 of your bet credits here, guys, so just bear with me here. You're going to take $10 of your bet credits. Let me just fix the phone, guys. My bad on this. And I will be improving the quality here, guys. I'm going to get around to that. So you're going to put in $10 of your bet credits. All right. So there we go. So you're going to get back 86. Now, the bet credits, again, the stake you won't. So it would be 76 you would get if you're using the credits. But if you've spent, like I said, 60 on those bets on the night, I mean, that's a $10 profit if they all lose, right? Now, you want this parlay to not hit. And a lot of people say, well, why would you do this parlay? Because what if it loses too, right? Well, let's just say one does lose. So Francisco Trinaldo, from the losers or from the opponent parlay doesn't win. Well, that means that the hard-earned money that you put on Bobby Green, you did win on that bet, and you did get back money. So that 20 that you put on Green, now you got back 40, and no matter what, you're going to live to see another day, and you have money in your account. If they all lose, like I said, you'll have money in your account as well. So there's no way that you can come out without anything with this method, guys. It's an insurance policy. I do like to use bet credits, like I said, and it does work, right? It has helped a lot of people, and it's good for MMA, right? Honestly, a lot of these methods can be applied in any sports when you have a lot of straight bets going, but it's a good insurance policy. And when the money's not yours, like the bet credits, right? That's not your hard-earned cash. You're only worried about that 200 deposit you put in, right? So it is a good investment to find a site that does offer those credits, so you do have the hedging, because the ability to hedge is pretty big when it comes to maintaining your bankroll. Now, the one thing I don't like, though, guys, is when you do a lot of parlays. I don't recommend parlays at all. Let's just get that out of the way first and foremost. One thing I wanted to clear up, I have given out a lot of parlay options and things like that in recent videos, and I just want people to know when I'm giving those out, there is guys that are going to be betting like that no matter what. They have disposable income. They want a stake in the fights, and it's just to make things more exciting, right? So I do give those plays out for those guys. For the ones that are, following the strategy, the tips that I'm giving out and just trying to be strict and grow your bankroll, it is all about discipline, like I've said. So if you're not taking the parlays, guys, there's nothing wrong with that. It's the right way to do things. Do individual bets as much as you can. And the only time you want to touch parlays is when you're super confident, and you still keep them small, no more than 2 to 3 fighters. And as soon as you get to plus money, if you can do it with 2 super confident picks, leave it at that, right? Getting close to plus money is what you want to do for the most part. But yeah, never be doing big parlays, guys, if you're trying to build a bankroll. And this method here is good to back up your straight bets. So again, it's a good insurance policy, guys. You'll never come out without anything. You'll always have something in the bank, to place another bet another day. And we do hope that that hedge bet loses. We want all those to lose, right? We want our hard-earned money bets. Those are the ones we want to hit. This is, again, a back burner, type of thing if you have a rough night. But hopefully you never have to cash in on any of these parlays, right? You always want to be on the winning side. But it's always better safe than sorry, guys. So that said, let's just get straight into determining value. And it's actually a good topic for this video because of the fact there's a fight that I didn't cover that I kind of wish that I had earlier in the week. I did like Mauricio to win, and I think that's a little bit of a heart pick, but I wasn't going to bet it. But now I am considering a bet, and it's actually not on Hua. It kind of breaks my heart that I'm going to bet against him, but the odds are up to, I think, 3.25. These aren't the best ones available, guys. This is the low end at 3.1. But I have seen Paul Craig's odds up there. Now, years ago, don't get me wrong, I feel that Mauricio would have ran through Paul Craig. But these are off. I cap it at probably 60-40 for Mauricio Hua. And that is the first thing you guys are going to do when, determining value, is basically put a percentage or a likelihood that your fighter is going to win. So, whether it's 60-40, 70-30, 90-10, whatever it is, either assign that type of probability on your fighter or a straight percentage, however you do it, just the likelihood that your pick's going to win. Now, if the bet or if the bookie sees it a lot differently, in this case, he does not see it as 60-40 for Hua. He gives Hua a lot better and sees him as a lot bigger favorite than that. I disagree because the point that he's at in his career, I do feel he's on the decline. He's taken a lot of damage and things like that, been in a lot of wars. I have a lot of respect for Shogun, but I do feel like 1.36 is more of the odds we would have seen for him in his prime, and he's not there at this point. So they are off, in my opinion. And again, the bookie does not see it as 60-40 for Shogun. He sees it a lot closer to 70-30, and there is just a decent bit of discrepancy here between what I think should be the line and what it actually is. And it's tempting. And when it's, this tempting, I do take a shot because it is off a good bit. I think a lot of people are going to be taking a shot on Paul Craig. Now, do I think he's the greatest fighter? Hell no, I don't. I think Mauricio Shogun is for sure the better fighter. But I just feel in this spot he does have a decent chance to win. And I am going to be taking a small shot. When you're determining probability, guys, what you want is you want to be thinking that the bookie has it wrong. You want to look at his odds or whatever they laid out and say, no, you fucked up, pal. And you want to go and correct it, or get to it before it's been corrected, I should say. But you want to put the correct bet in on the guy that you feel like the value's on, right? So always look out for the guy they fucked up on, the one that they're not giving the respect to. Those are the ones to pull the trigger on, guys. Now, of course, you have to see the path to victory. You can't just go out and bet a bum because he's way up 5-1. I will take a shot on those type of bets occasionally, though, when they get a 5 and 6-1. But that's only when I see the path to victory. It's not only the lines being a bit off. You also have to see or feel that that fighter can win. You don't have to necessarily always feel like he will win for sure, but you have to feel like the likelihood is a lot better than what the bookie thinks it is. And the method does work. It's tried and tested, guys. I've done that. I've used it for years, right? So I started off with about 200 bucks. I'd say 3.5, 4 years ago. And the first year was whatever, right? Kind of up and down, good week, bad week type of thing. Then when I started slowly implementing some of the things that I had learned, I did do a bit of research and things like that. And then finally, I was able to get to the point where I was steadily winning. And I'd say over the past, time that I've been betting, anywhere from 40 to 50K. Now, there was a time where I considered, maybe doing it for a living. But the thing is with that, guys, the only time I could ever recommend even trying that is if you're only responsible for yourself, right? You don't have a family. For me, I can't, justify betting MMA for a living when I have a family. You can make good money. There is a lot of variables though, like sites shutting you down, accounts being restricted, all types of things that I don't want to deal with as far as stressors and things like that. Also, selling picks and things like that isn't for me. I'd much rather, put out a channel that can give out these tips, and then hopefully, the channel grows or something along those lines, because I can't really justify having people pay you for MMA picks, especially when your pitch isn't something that I'm sold by. Like a lot of these channels on YouTube, or not a lot, but a couple of them are used as commercials to sell bets, and these guys aren't that great at it. I can easily do what they do with the compound interest and grow my account, so I have no interest in buying into the bullshit. Now some people say they do the research for me and all that. Well, that's cool, but it's a scam in my opinion. You're paying for their bets. Once you guys pay for your account, that whatever 200 a year, next week they're taking that 200 bucks and they're putting it on a bet for themselves. They're you're paying for their lifestyle, you're paying for all of that type of stuff. So, and I know this, but I'm not trying to shit on anybody who does it or anything like that. I just want you guys to know that you do have the ability through discipline, and just learning how to read the lines. And it is a game within a game. You just got to learn it, right? Betting does have a lot of potential with MMA to make a ton of money. But the thing is, you just got to learn the ins and outs of it. It does take time. And I feel like this channel is cutting a lot of the corners for you guys, giving you guys a lot of the tips without having to lose the money or go through the hardship yourself. I was lucky that, I never did, take any big losses or anything like that, or go on any massive streaks. At the worst, it was kind of just up and down. But like I said, over the past few years, I've been steadily growing my bank account, or growing my betting accounts. I will withdraw, quarterly. And I have been shut down, restricted, all those type of things. So hopefully we will get to the point on this channel where I can talk about some of the ways you can either prolong that from happening or avoid it. There are a couple sites like Pinnacle who, are known for not really shutting down accounts. So, there are a lot of things out there, guys, that I haven't talked about yet that I will talk about. But I'm going to space these episodes out a little bit more. I've done about, what is it now? This is the 6th in a month. So I'm going to wait now probably till I'm about 100 plus subscribers before I drop another one. I will, of course, always do my picks every week. Wouldn't leave anybody hanging on that. But I think at this point I'll have covered a lot of good tips and a lot of things that will save people money as well as make people money. The hedging one, seems to be a basic tip, right, when you look at it on paper, but it will save you a lot of money. And there is different variations of ways to do it. Like such as, let's just say Sergio Moraes, you win the first fight of the night and James Krause cashes for you. You can also, use more of those credits to hedge the other two fights now that you've already won, and it's not your money anyway, right? Again, you're using credits, things like that. You can hedge on the two remaining fighters. So again, just to be clear, guys, what I'm saying is, if you do have a successful first fight of the night and that hedging bet that you did becomes useless right away, so now he's gone, you could also now just do these two fighters. You got it at 330 or 3.3. You put that $10 in and you'll get 23 back. So you can mess with it throughout the night, right? But just make sure you're not cutting into your profits. If you're continuously hedging and doing things like that, that's going to cut into your money, right? If you put in 15 bucks in hedging, that's 15 bucks you're not going to have in profit. So just keep in mind when you're hedging to keep it small if you're using your own bankroll, if you're using your own cash, and you don't have those credits. But another time when it can be done as well is when you have one of those $2-3 parlays. Like once in a while, that whole card parlay will hit maybe once a year. When you get to the main event and you spent $5, and if you win, it's going to be 500. You can definitely put down maybe $100 of that profit and knock down your night to a $400 profit night versus 500, and put in $100 hedge. There's nothing wrong with that, but just make sure you're well in the profit before you put any bigger numbers behind hedges. But I am one of the guys who, especially with MMA, it is okay to do, but make sure that your initial bets are smart, right? These hedges are done based off of 3 smart individual bets, right? It's not like I went in and picked a whole bunch of crazy fights and then I'm hedging all of those. I'm confident in the bets that I placed. This is, again, just an insurance policy that I hope that I don't have to use. But if I do, it is, a nice safety net. So guys, I will see you guys after the weigh-ins for UFC tomorrow. Bellator is coming up tonight. For anybody who missed that, the main event, there was a decent pick there. So check that video out. It's less than 5 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, if I remember correct. But it kind of talks about Linton Vassell. I think he might have been a decent pick. I'm not sure where his numbers are at now. But I do notice a lot of the PFL One Championship, smaller promotions don't get a lot of views. If you are a guy who is looking at gambling, or looking at these videos only to make money, it is something to look at, guys. If you haven't in past, those promotions do offer a lot of opportunities for parlays, and straight bets a lot of times as well. And I do make a lot of good money betting on One and Bellator and things like that. It's definitely not only UFC. I do the videos for these because they're obviously the more mainstream, and they're going to bring in the views and things like that. But all the promotions do offer opportunities to make money, guys. So just look out for those if you haven't in past. Again, a couple more videos coming out this week. I'll see you guys tomorrow after the weigh-ins. Appreciate you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you on the next one.